Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Nick versus Jim. In a podcast several months ago on the Improved Photography podcast, Nick called me out for a night photography duel. And so we both went to the same location in Page, Arizona to shoot the famed Horseshoe Bend, but we did it at night, and there was basically no moon out. I mean, it was pitch black. So I want to share with you the photos that we took, and we want to talk a lot about the low light capabilities of the Fuji X-T1, the mirrorless camera, compared to Nick's DSLR, some of the tips we used, who won, and who took which photo. So Nick, describe us the scene. Like, for those who have never been to Horseshoe Bend at night, what is it?
Well, it's dark for one thing. It's dark and scary. You're standing on the edge of a cliff that is hundreds of feet, and you look down, and at night you can't see anything. It is just pitch black. And when you go to take a photo that would normally be decently exposed at night, it's still black. We could not have chosen a more difficult shooting situation for this, but I think it kind of illuminated the issues and the strengths of our cameras for sure.
Yeah, so I was shooting the mirrorless Fuji X-T1, and I only had an f2.8 lens with me. I didn't have my f1.8 lens, or my f1.4. And so I shot at an exposure of 4 minutes for the shutter speed, ISO 3200, and of course my aperture maxed out at f2.8. And I was actually pretty impressed with how clean the file turned out. It actually looked pretty darn good. I had to shoot a panorama because my lens wasn't wide enough. This is a really, really wide area. I mean, really the ideal lens for this would be that Canon 11-14, that $3,000 lens. That would be awesome for this. But it's incredibly wide, so both of us had to shoot panoramas, but I was really impressed with how well the Fuji held up. I would really not be surprised at all to get the exact same file out of a DSLR.
Yeah. So I was shooting with my 5D Mark III, and I shot it two different ways. I shot it with my 24 millimeter Rokinon f1.4, and I was actually much happier with that shot because I was shooting at ISO 4000. And then I also shot it with my wide angle lens, my 16-35, and I was using ISO 8000. And even at ISO 8000, I mean, I had very little detail in the shadows. Like it was very, very underexposed. And so a lot of people that saw this, they saw the end result. They were like, yeah, that's kind of noisy. Well, it's noisy for a reason. It was ISO 8000, and then I had to boost it up like 3 stops. And I did all of this because Jim didn't have his 24 millimeter lens there. And I was like, I want to take it easy on Jim. I don't want to, it wouldn't be fair if I was like using a lens that he didn't have the ability to use.
Which for me was the 16 millimeter 1.4, which is the equivalent of a 24.
Right. And so had he been able to use that, I would have used my files that I got from the 24 because they were much cleaner, much better. But no, I went with the ISO 8000 shot. And then I come to realize that I got to looking at your Milky Way, and there was something a little fishy about that. Some of the people noticed that it was angled the wrong way. And the reason it was angled the wrong way is because it was the Milky Way from an entirely different shot. You had taken a summertime shot and worked it into our fall time shot. So you cheated, Jim. You cheated.
Yeah, I cheated. But hey, who made the sky replacement tutorial on improvedphotography.com that's available for $10, by the way? Nick Page did. So you can't teach sky replacements and then say it's cheating. And I noticed something else in one of your photos. I was shooting, my tripod was right next to yours, and the stars did not reflect off the water. But in your photo, the stars reflected. I wonder if that was because somebody used a little Photoshop magic.
That was a reflection replacement, not a sky replacement. So there's a difference.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, it was a really fun shoot. It was fun to see what the gear is capable of. Neither of us are real thrilled with these photos, but it was fun to go out and try really pushing these cameras to the absolute limits of what they could do. And I was impressed with what they can do, but 6-7 years from now, as cameras improve, I want to return there again. And I'm probably going to shoot this a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit just after the blue hour to get the Horseshoe Bend, and then use a different sky. And then I think you could get an actually clean shot of this. But it was fun to push things to the limit and see what we could go. We posted this on the Improved Photography Podcast Facebook group, and people voted on our photos, and it was just a total tie. It was 71 votes to 70 votes so far, but there's still a couple days left in the voting, so we'll see where it goes. My photo was the one showing the Milky Way, the vertical shot, and Nick's was the horizontal shot showing a little bit of stars, but more of Horseshoe Bend. So really fun photo duel, and we'll have another episode of Nick versus Jim coming at you the next time we get to shoot together. Bye. I figured it had cut out because I saw the time and I was like, I better just keep talking and cut this thing. Yeah. Awesome. What about your presets for the Lightroom Steel? Are you doing that? Yeah, I'm pretty much putting together the package. Okay, sounds good. Doesn't matter. I can take care of it. Okay. All right, we'll see you.